In this film, we'll be looking at what happens when souls don't go to the light following death. With me to discuss this is Andy Tomlinson, a reincarnation pioneer, and we'll be showing you an actual spirit release session. Andy, spirit attachments, what are they?
Well, sometimes when souls have left the physical body after death, they may stay earthbound for a variety of reasons. It may be because there's been a sudden death, and actually the consciousness doesn't realise that the human body is dead. It can still stay around in a state of confusion. Sometimes it may stay behind by the attraction of other people, the love for them, for example. Or sometimes it can be the attraction of the physical world is too strong. So there's a variety of reasons why sometimes souls don't follow this path. And when they stay earthbound and they go into buildings, we refer to them as ghosts. And when this energy attaches itself to other people, it's referred to as a spirit attachment.
Andy, what effect do they have on people?
Well, these discarnate spirits can sit on the edge of people's energy fields, and their effect will be a very minimum. But sometimes they can enter deeply into the energy field, and then their emotions, their thoughts, or even their behaviours can influence the host.
How can we be protected from getting spirit attachments?
Well, a lot of us do have a form of energy protection from these. It's only at a time when our energy system is weakened, we become more vulnerable to them coming. It could be an accident, it can be an operation. It could be something traumatic that's happening in the person's life at the time. And that's a time when spirit attachments can go through and enter. There is a form of protection people can use where they can visualize, and of course energy follows thoughts, so if they visualize perhaps some helpful way of putting a form of energy sheet over them, by just creating that intent and doing it on a regular basis, at least once a day, perhaps in a meditation, that's quite helpful. And the other form of protection is to make sure that we're energetically not vulnerable by working through unresolved things. So if we do have emotional unfinished business, then to make sure we clear that.
Hollywood films on this subject absolutely terrify people. Is what they portray really what happens?
No, of course not. Remember that Hollywood are in the business of creating emotions. They may create the emotions of excitement through a thriller. They may create the emotions of sadness with perhaps a sad romance. Or they can create fear in the case of horror films. And that's what they do. Truth, unfortunately, gets left behind in their interest to create this type of film. We need to remember that what spirit attachments are just simply people without a physical body. They shouldn't be any more scary than walking down the high street and meeting people in human form. It's just simply that they don't have any form of physical body. An important part of working with them is to work with love, just as you would do if you were meeting a human being for the first time. Be very courteous and treat them in a respectful way, and you get on fine with them. If you go along to them and start to shout at them or threaten to them, of course you get a completely different sort of reaction. So the work that I do is all based on love and giving them the same sort of respect that I would do with a client.
We're now going to show you an actual spirit release session.
What name have you got?
Clara.
Clara. Hello, Clara. What are you doing in there?
Keeping warm.
Oh, keeping warm. Oh dear, what happened to you?
It's so cold.
Oh, so cold. Oh dear. And what attracted you to this body?
It's just warm.
It was just warm. Oh, You know, I know a really warm place where people can go to. You realise that you don't have your own body, you're in someone else's body. You do know that. Okay, would you like to go to a nice warm place?
No.
You wouldn't.
I want to stay here.
You want to stay here.
This is nice and warm here.
Oh, this is nice and warm here.
I've been on my own for a while now. This is quite nice.
Oh. Well, we'll just ask whether the person whose body that you're in wants you there. I'm just going to tap on the forehead, and when I do, I'm just going to let the person whose body this is speak to me. Do you want this energy inside you?
No.
Okay, I'm going to tap you on the forehead, we're going to let this energy speak. Okay, well, I'm afraid you're not wanted in this body. This isn't your body. Did you have anybody who loved you when you had your life?
Been on my own for a very long time.
You've been on your own for a very long time. Are you a man or a woman? Boy or a girl?
Woman.
A woman. Well,
You've left me on my own for a very long time.
did you ever have anybody who loved you?
Maybe once.
Well, just think back to that once. Tell me who was it that loved you?
My son used to come and see me.
Did you love your son? Would you like to see your son? You can bring your son down.
I think he's forgotten about me.
Well, we could see. So if we brought your son down and we took you to a nice warm place to warm you up, would you be ready to leave this body?
I don't know if I can believe you.
Oh, and what is it that's needed for you to believe me?
I don't want you to get me out of here and then I'll just be cold and lonely again.
Okay. Well, what I'll do is I'll ask your son to come down and tell you whether this place that you're going to is a warm place. Okay, we'll just ask for your son to go to this place where there's lots of warmth and then come on down, make himself known to you. Feel him coming towards you now.
I can feel that heat.
Can you feel the heat? Are you ready to go with him now to this warm place? Okay, well, just before you go, perhaps just thank the person whose body that you're in for being there. Can you do that?
It's very obliging.
Yes, okay. Well, it's time to leave now. We're just going to bring down a spirit guide also to help you on the way. So take the hand of the spirit guide, take the hand of your son, then slowly start to leave this body. Okay, and as you slowly start to leave the body, just help push that energy out. That's it, just help push it out. That's it, off you go. Just take that energy all away. Just take it all away. Okay, let's go through and find out now what that experience was like for the person. And what was it like when that energy was leaving your body? What did you experience then?
Well, the heat was there, and so then it was sort of vibrating, getting stronger, as if it was sort of leaving up through the head, and then it was easier just to sort of push it out, because then I knew that it was my arms that were pushing it out and my energy was pushing it out, and then I could feel that it was leaving.
That looked very peaceful. Can you tell me more about what was happening?
Well, in that particular case, that spirit attachment was there, and it had actually died a death where it was cold, and it was looking for warmth, and it found the warmth in the host it was in. And the way of releasing it is, first of all, by making sure that it understands that it's not in its own body, that it's someone else's body, and that it's not needed or it's not wanted there anymore. And then secondly, finding out what's needed for it to go to the light realms. And in this case, it was to find a place of warmth it could go to with a loved one. And notice the way that this was done compassionately and with love. This is totally different than exorcism, where force is used, and then you, of course, you get completely a different sort of response.
We've heard Andy talk about spirit attachments. More information about spirit attachments and protection is in Andy's book, Healing the Eternal Soul, or visit these websites.